Hey everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I am actually really excited and so hopeful about what I'm hoping to share with you guys today. The Arteza company actually followed up with me after my review of the products that they had sent me, of their 48 package of real brush pens, as well as their cutting blades and their water brush, the premium water brush sets. And I have to say, I couldn't give them a rave review like I was hoping to, and they actually explained to me that the person who was handling my account, meaning, my review account, was a new employee and actually didn't respond to me in the way that the company normally would have. When I had contacted her and told her that my package was defective and that it had repeats of marker colors, she, I guess in normal practice, should have sent a replacement, and she didn't. So somebody else from the company contacted me and said that they were really sorry that that was the experience I had had, and could they send me other products of theirs, and would I be willing to, review those? So of course I said yes. I had totally wanted to love their products, and I'm hoping that I will. And they were so generous. They actually sent me a 96 color set of the real brush pens. And this is their largest set. And I will say, price-wise, of course, compared to the real brush markers, the Zig Kuretake ones that I also have, they're priced much more favorably. The Zig Kuretake, the largest set that they have, is 80 markers, and currently I think the price on Amazon is something like $89. So that comes out to just over $1.10 per marker. And this Arteza 96 real brush pen set, which is obviously bigger, comes out at about 83 cents a marker. So price-wise, it is much better than the Zig Kuretake ones. And I am really hopeful that I'm going to like these, and I can come back and share that with you guys. But one of the first things that I realized in this set is that all of the markers have color names. And that was one of the complaints that I had about the other marker set. None of the markers had color labels on them, but these actually do. It's teeny tiny font. I don't even know if this will be readable, but for my, 40-something-year-old eyes, this is too tiny for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my Zig markers, which is to put labels on all of them. And I use this Office Depot labels, and this is item 940963. And what I've done is I've actually typed in all of the marker names and the numbers, and I've printed them out on these labels. I also printed them out on cardstock so that I can do a swatch of all of the colors, and I can share that with you guys. So that'll come up next. If you end up deciding to get this marker set and don't want to go to the trouble of typing all of these labels out, please feel free to go check out my blog post, where I will have a link or a downloadable document so that you can print these out and use this yourselves. Okay, how beautiful are all of these colors? The saturation level on all of these real brush pens is just gorgeous. Now, each one of these, I took a marker and circled 3 times, so that I wanted to get like the full strength of the ink for each color. A lot of them are very similar, but put right next to each other, you can tell the variation from marker to marker. This is the huge 96 marker set, and I will say my guess is that when you blend out some of these colors, you can get the lighter versions relatively easily, so I don't know that you need the huge version. I wanted to also point out that while I was going through labeling each one of the markers, I did notice some things that I had noticed in my prior package. One is that the bristles, some of them at the ends were loose, so I had to pull them off. But that part is okay in my estimation for a hobbyist or student grade kind of markers. But one thing that did bother me more was the kind of stray bristles. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. but you see how some of the bristles kind of go off? And this one's not so bad. I had a handful of these kinds of stray bristle marks, but I think I can just handle that by snipping them off. And then hopefully that won't impact my use of these. However, there was one marker, this one, that just was crazy. I mean, you can see that easily. These bristles are totally bent out of shape. I tried to reform it in water. It didn't work. I just kind of lost some of the ink that way. And I'm going to try and just shave these off or snip them off with scissors and hopefully be able to use the rest of it. But I did want to point that out, that these are not like artist quality. I would say they're more hobbyist. And when I tried out my 48 pack, which was only 36 colors, I noticed that some of the colors changed when you added water. This was done on cardstock paper because I can't get Bristol paper through my printer at home. I'm going to probably take it to a copy shop and then be able to, blend out with a water brush to get the color changes and the lightening for watercoloring with these markers. And I did want to mention that from my prior package, I did see some color changes. So some of the purples turned a little orangey, that sort of thing. Not all of them. Some of them blended out beautifully, but some of them did kind of change in color. So again, I think these are a more affordable per market price than the Zig Clear Color Real Brush markers, but I would say that the quality is probably not quite as high. So depending on your budget or what you're going to be using these for, but I do have those couple of concerns. Some loose bristles on, I'd say probably 15-20% of the markers, and then some of these brushes that had, the stray bristles completely off center, that I know I'm going to have to be snipping off. Now, I also want to share with you guys my review and first impressions of this Arteza 72 color fine liner pen set. They generously sent me this as well to review and try out. And first of all, I think that that is pretty amazing given my first review of their products. They, I think, show a lot of integrity to follow up with me and to also have me try out other products of theirs, because I think they really value my honesty in my reviews. So let me get right to it. I think the color selection is amazing. Really beautiful colors, at least according to the pen caps anyway. I appreciate the fact that they thought to design this with a triangular shape so that they don't roll off of your desk. I think that's really nice. The colors are shown both on the cap and at the base of each pen. And I'm just going to take a little piece, a scrap piece of Bristol watercolor paper so I can show you. So this point is really great. It has enough kind of oomph to it. The 0.4 thickness of this pen. I think the quality looks pretty good. I'm going to just pick some random colors here so you can see the colors and how they show up. This one seems a little bit lighter than the pen cap, but it's right in there. It's very close. This one seems a little bit darker than the pen cap maybe, but that's just my eye. Maybe, it looks more exact to you. I love this color. Now that one seems much lighter than this pen cap here. This one looks almost fluorescent and that looks more pale to me. I'm definitely going to be swatching all of these out so that I have a better sense of what color actually comes out, what ink color comes out, rather than just relying on the pen caps. But I do that with every kind of coloring medium. I did also want to try out, I know that they are water soluble. So let me take a water brush. That's why I use the Bristol paper. Ooh, and I really like that. And I actually kind of like how if you don't keep blending, you end up having a little bit of the lines from the pen staying even after it's blended. And I think that would be great for coloring up little critters, furry little animals. You could have kind of some texture left even though you're blending out the color. But I love this so far. I would definitely recommend these fine liner pens. I use these fine liner pens to color up this fun Quetzal craft stamp called Christmas Gangnam Style in a video just prior to this one. So if you're interested, I'll put a link in the description box below to that coloring video. And the last product that the Arteza company sent me was this 72 color watercolored colored pencils. This is supposed to be artist quality, rich, vibrant colors. I will say that the color spectrum that it appears to have is pretty extensive. Some of these colors look very similar, but I'll have to color swatch them out before I can report back to you on how different some of these colors are. But I have noticed that each of the pencils are marked with a color name and with a number, which is fantastic. So I can share with you exactly the colors that I used. So that's 1 tray, 2 trays, and 3 trays of colored pencils. I did notice that all of the pencils look like they have started out in the case with a dull top. So I'm going to have to go through and sharpen each one of these. Luckily, recently I picked up this Coom pencil sharpener, which I hope will help me get all of these sharpened. Now I'm kind of dreading the fact that I didn't get an electric pencil sharpener, but we'll see how these go. And as you can see, I did a full swatch of all of the colored pencils in this Arteza watercolor pencil set. And what I found was just coloring on Bristol cardstock, this was a little bit scratchier than like my Derwent Inktense watercolor color pencils, but it blended really nicely generally. You can see some texture from the color pencil still visible a little bit in some of the colors, but generally they blended out pretty well. I will say that I was a little disappointed to see that there was a duplicate, the Ube, which is like a purple color. There were 2 of those, so I'm obviously missing one other color. So my hand totally cramped up sharpening all the pencils, but when I did check the reverse side of the tin that the color pencils came in, I realized that I was missing the lavender. So it's not that big a deal. There are lots of purples in here. Basically, I got a duplicate of one color. So this kind of raises the same concern that I had when I got my first set of Arteza real brush pens. There was a whole tray in that one that was a duplicate of another tray. So I don't know what the quality control is at the company. You know, generally I think I am okay with this watercolor color pencil set, but I would disagree. I don't believe that this is artist quality. I think this is probably more like student quality, which is fine for crafting in my opinion. But I wouldn't expect this to be the same quality as like the Derwent Inktense watercolor colored pencils. So in summary, I think that the Arteza Real Brush pens are kind of so-so in quality. With the loose bristles, the bristles that are kind of ruined on the sides that I had to clip away, and the quality control from the first package where 2 whole trays were the same color. I don't know that I would personally risk it to try these versus spending just a little more for the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, which I have had great experiences with in terms of quality and lasting. In terms of the fine liner pens, I don't have anything to compare them to, but I absolutely love these. I think the quality seemed really good. I love the way you can get into tiny nooks and crannies for coloring, and I love how they blended out with a water brush. So this is definitely a do for me in terms of my personal experience with these. And then lastly, for the watercolor colored pencils, I thought these were fine for regular crafting. they blended decently and the quality seemed okay. I didn't think it was as great as the quality of the Derwent Inktense watercolor colored pencils, but I would say the Derwent are about 3 times the price of these Artezas. And so it really depends on kind of what your budget is and what you're looking to achieve with your watercolor colored pencils. And that's my review. If you guys are interested in making any Arteza purchases, I will put a link in the description box below to the shop, as well as a coupon code that you can use for 10% off any purchase you make at that Arteza shop. Now for the giveaway. As you guys know, I had received a first package of Real Brush pens from Arteza that had 36 colors in it. They're basically duplicates in the larger 92 pack that I got. So if anybody is interested in winning this first set, I only use them to do the swatch. I made up color names because the pens didn't have color names on them. But if you're interested in winning this and you are in the US, please add in the comment section below just a note that says, please enter me. And I'll draw a winner in about a week's time. That's it for me today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day. Thanks so much for watching.